up the picture on the screen, please. Here we are. So this is the photo where you see Klaus with his father, the renowned scientist, one of the creators of the Soviet nuclear shield. Klaus also worked in that laboratory. This is New Afon City. Next slide, please. We put together a few photos so that you could find out about the story. This is the Thiessen family in the Soviet Union. They worked here throughout almost 15 years, and Klaus here, being a young gentleman, he actually was a great tennis player. I don't know how it is now. I'm sure that he will be able to stand up to it. He was awarded many Soviet and Russian state awards, and it was a very close cooperation with quite a few academicians here, the Nobel laureate, Commission Basov, and his close friend Joris Alferov. Klaus, it's a great honor for us to see you with us. And I would like to remind us that very recently Klaus celebrated his 90th anniversary, which was especially noted by the ministry. And so I'm hopeful that we will be able to witness your great work for many years to come. You wanted to say something to the audience here. Actually, these are the photos which contain some very historic events. For example, where we meet with Nikolai Basov, who is the Nobel laureate, in Wannsee. It was in the West Berlin. It was in 1982, during the Cold War. There was a luminescence conference, and at that conference, I had the right to travel to West Berlin because everybody was confident that I'm not going to stay in the West Berlin. But there was also Nikolaus Riel, the one who received the award of the Hero of the Soviet Union, the Hero of the Labor, of the Soviet Union, for his metallurgy of uranium, which was the first plutonium bombs that the Soviet Union was then developing. And actually he was born in St. Petersburg. His father, in 1905, his father then was the director of the Siemens operation in St. Petersburg before the First World War. And what's interesting about this photo is that, as it states, this was the meeting of the Nobel laureates in Potsdam. And right in the middle there, actually, over there. Where is the pointer? It doesn't work. I can't see. You see, in the very middle of it, you see Joris Alferov in the second row, the ex-director of the Renewable Energy Institute in Freiburg. So what came out of it? Because then they stated that we need to have such a program as Manhattan or the Sputnik, but essentially nothing came out of it. So the only thing is that both in the United States and in Germany, it became much worse than it was 10 years ago, actually. But in Russia, I'm very much praiseworthy of you because of such a breakthrough. Sorry for mixing up English words with it. So you may recall this interesting meeting which took place in the end of May in the Swiss General Consulate in St. Petersburg on the eve of the Global Energy Prize award being given to Michael Grätzl for the new photovoltaic cell. And it was very important that for the first time what they were doing in that area, but right there, the next day, Alexei Likhachev demonstrated and very properly was critical when he was saying that an enormous amount of energy in the world comes from coal, and let me see.
Because my slide is in Russian. Solar 41% strategy.
Nevertheless, it was 41% from coal, so that was impermissible, which was what he said during that meeting which you attended. And so what's going on in Germany? on the surface of things, everything looks better in Germany because it is 30%. I do not understand why this thing with this clicker doesn't work here. Although, I've got quite a good grip on it. And 30% of the renewables, this is biomass and hydro. However, Germany, as you know, is going out of nuclear energy. But what they're doing instead, the burning of the brown coal is what they really went into. And that was 23%. And that is the dirtiest form which you can ever imagine, the brown coal. And that is why I've written there, it is unacceptable, impermissible. And by the way, we ultimately, ended up having a scandal with Mrs. Chancellor, Mrs. Merkel, who was employed by my father's institute. She was a physicist, actually, and actually she was a normal person. But she actually was trying to do everything that her boss was telling her, although he was living too far away. Putin spoke about him at length today, the current president of the United States. So you see, this is too bad. This is too bad. So it seems to me that it's really interesting because you spoke very excellently about the work that the Rosnano is currently doing, Mr. Korchagin. You were talking about, and in Kazakhstan it's the same thing, because you can see the Atom, they launched an excellent factory of the silicon solar cells in Ust-Kamenogorsk, and actually I was invited by the governor, or the elder, Akim, that's the way they say it in the Kazakh language. I was transported there on his personal plane to Ust-Kamenogorsk because he wanted to demonstrate to us his new factory, which unfortunately he wholly bought from France. From my former students, but it seems to me, and that is why I'm suggesting it. I'm standing here with the directors of this factory. At the top, you can see it says on the sign that it's the photovoltaic cell factory Kazatom #1, and I propose, because there are excellent relations between Russia and Kazakhstan. 30 years ago. Almost everybody remembers that I was against the breakup of the Soviet Union because I'm at the kind of an age that I can afford to say things like that. But right now, I believe these relations are very good between Kazakhstan and Russia, and that is why I suggest that Kazatom and Rosnano and Havel, and my excellent lady has left here, but we still remember her, and Russia should all try and 3 times increase the capacity of this factory because, and by the way, I have been able to come to an agreement with them because right now they don't have the necessary resources. Maybe together we can help them and do it. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.